on? Are the stocks and economy, are they going to stay divorced, or are they going to get back together? Based on today's action, it looks like they may get together. But at the end of the day, again, it's we didn't like being long, and I don't know if we'll still be long tomorrow, but certainly ugly. Okay, certainly ugly, but we've been watching for weeks the separation between the economy and the stock market. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it plays. But you've got lots of stuff going on. Pretty cruddy day. We had a lousy day trading this morning, and there wasn't much to do. Basically, we just kind of headed south the entire day. I mean, if you look at the short-term charts, I mean, a little bit of a bounce late, but basically everything just went kind of straight down or straight up. And I don't know what that crude oil move was about, but there was obviously some news about here, whatever time that is, about 11 o'clock or so. That sent or maybe early. I forget now. I think it was here. Actually, I think it was here. That sent crude to the moon. Okay, about 10 o'clock this morning, 10:20. There had to be some sort of news that pushed it up. Again, those moves are not common when you see them, and typically they're news driven. And typically, if you were to describe what actually happened there, what do you think happened there? What would be your guess? Okay, it's an important point. It's an important learning point. I want to know if you can guess the right answer. Okay. Let's see if somebody can give me the answer that I'm looking for. That would be my guess, my brother from the southwest suburbs. I'll see if anybody else can get it before I spill the beans. Okay. Now, one thing you should all know, you should always take a shot, okay, at answering. That's how you learn, by stepping out. Nobody's gonna make, first of all, nobody can see me but me. Number one. Number two, this is how you learn. Okay. I would say that it was a short covering rally. Okay. They were hammering crude. It was down about $4, and something came out. And I heard, something between Iran and Saudi Arabia and some prince. Again, I don't read the news, so I don't really care. But I would say the move was all short cover. Now we'll see what happens from here. That our energy policy sucks anyways. If you weren't watching, that but natural gas had 14-year highs today, which tells you how bad our policy is. Okay. And I think that you have to ask yourself this very important question. Okay. Whether you believe in climate change or you don't believe in it. I personally don't, but listen, that doesn't make me right. Okay. But whether you believe or you don't believe, at what cost do we want to destroy the middle class? Okay. That's the real question that needs to be answered. Okay. Because there's a lot of things going on that are not good. Okay. But again, at the end of the day, at what cost do we want to destroy the country itself? Because again, I had a conversation with somebody who said that the EV stuff is working great where they are, and in small areas, I'm sure it works great, and I'm sure it'd be great to get to at some point. But we're not ready now, and paying the prices that we're paying for everything, is ridiculous. Okay, we shouldn't have to pay the kind of dollars we're paying, and plus, that's if you can get anything. I have a refrigerator it's not gone, it works, okay, but I can just tell that there's enough problems, and I don't want to be stuck without it. You can't find a refrigerator. Okay, that nobody's got them in stock, basically. Okay, now think about that. Okay, what happens if your refrigerator goes down at home and you can't get one? Okay, unless of course the one you might be able to get might be $5,000 instead of the 1,500 or 2,000 that's in your budget. Then what do you do? Okay, the supply chain is totally screwed. Okay, so again, we continue to ignore the common problems that we have in this country. Okay, and again, I'm not going to get political about it. Okay, I mean, obviously, this administration doesn't give a rat's ass about anything. Okay, because you can see by the way that they're acting. But again, forget about that. Let's just look at it from a dollars and cents point. Okay, we are paying a lot more dollars to live, and I don't know anybody whose income has kept up with the cost of living. Okay, if yours is, let me know. I'd love to know one person tell me that their income is keeping up with the cost of living. Okay, I would love to know that. Okay, and you know, I know there was some kind of press conference today. I have no idea what it was about, but I heard about it. But when it comes to Russia, okay, you know, now Venezuela is stopping their oil shipments to Europe. Okay, now who do you think's behind that? Okay, I mean, do you think Russia might be behind that? And this is the problem when you make empty threats and phony accusations or deal in rhetoric, okay, about what the sanctions are doing. Russia is thriving from the sanctions, the supposed sanctions that they have. Okay, they're not suffering, they're thriving. Why? Because we're not doing anything to penalize them. Okay, we are not costing them any money. We are actually making them more money. And because they've got a lot of these smaller countries under their thumb, and because a lot of countries are almost ready to desert the US because of what's going on, you get these problems. So now what's Europe going to do now? Okay, at least they had some kind of competition for price, sir. Now they have none. So you know, again, you think about it and you tell me, okay, the right answer. Okay, because we've got layoffs coming. We've got, you know, because of the situation. Okay, you know, and you can name about 50 things that are going on, but supply chain, high cost of gas, high cost of energy, blah blah blah, high cost of electricity. All of a sudden, people can't spend as much money, so the companies have to lay people off. They don't get the goods. If you remember, right here on this call, I said to you a long time ago that there's no way these companies can ever make their earnings because they don't have enough goods to sell. Okay, they're not getting the goods to sell. So how are they going to make their earnings if they can't get enough product? Now, certainly they can manipulate their expectations. You know that story. That's a game. That's a game all to itself. Okay, but we have a dollar that's continuing to soar. Okay, which again, for me, it doesn't bother me. Okay, I think that the population is wrong when they worry about the strong dollar versus commodities, because again, I don't know, if you give up weakness on your dollar, aren't you selling it for a lower price anyways? What's up, Ash? So again, that's a I don't know. I guess that's a much deeper economist view, which to me, most economists are morons anyways. Okay, so I don't get into that part because to me it makes no sense anyways. Okay, I mean, why should a weaker dollar be better for commodity export? Okay, am I not selling at a lower price anyways? Okay, I mean, if I give up the dollar, the value of the dollar, am I not giving up the price? I mean, maybe I don't understand, which is certainly possible. Okay, but you know, the market themselves were ugly. Okay, now again, I don't know how we're going to be tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised to see many changes in our positions. You know, we were already on into some weakness at all. And now we've had back-to-back days. But one of the things that's still missing is the volume. Okay. And where's Clara Peller? Where's the beef? Where's the volume? Okay. And so these were not big high volume days. I mean, these were not even average volume days with the selling. So it's hard. So it's hard to just decipher exactly what's going on in total here. I mean, we obviously can all recognize the obvious. Okay. But there's more to this story that we're not getting somewhere. Okay. What is the logic behind not fracking, not shale producing, at least for the short run? Okay. We're still burning as much fuel, if not more, are we not? Okay, now we've seen a cutback. Everyone wants to know why the price of oil has gone down. Well, a lot of people can't afford to drive. So you're seeing, a cutback. Okay, so you're seeing a demand slide in oil. I mean, you can start with the airlines. They're not flying anywhere near as many flights as they were flying, are they? I see a dramatic cutback in the number of flights that are flying. And they're still flying a lot, but they've cut back substantially. So the consumer has cut back on driving if they can help it, because again, when you got to fill up that tank, I mean, every time I go to the gas station, it's over $100. Okay, now again, so what is the reasoning? What logical reason can anybody give me for why we are not producing our own oil when we have over a 200-year supply easily accessible? I would love to hear somebody's opinion, and it can be either side. Again, I don't care what your reasoning is. I just like to know what you're thinking. Okay, because to me, I look at this and I go, this makes absolutely no sense. We are in the process of destroying an entire class of people. And unfortunately, in my eyes, it's the most important class of people. Okay. I mean, the wealthy pay the most taxes. Okay. Now we can debate that issue, if they pay enough or if they don't pay enough, but they pay the most. Okay. And again, the only way to fix, if you want them to pay more, is to fix the tax code. Okay. But of course, instead of fixing the tax code, let's go spend $80 billion on more agents, right? Okay. And who knows what the hell they're going to do. But so now, okay, we don't know what is the agenda behind all of this. Okay. But you are indeed destroying an entire class of people. Build Back Better. Who has more power than the oil people? Well, big oil, we have more power. We have the oil companies. I mean, other than Aramco, I mean, big oil still runs this country. Okay, in my opinion. Right. But again, they're allowing this to happen because they're profiting on the refining and on the back end anyway. So it doesn't matter to them. Okay, you got to remember, we have as much oil as anybody. We were a net exporter, if you don't remember. Okay, so you can argue that they have more, but I would argue if you want to drill for it, okay, we have more. Okay. But electric is in control. Why? Why is electric? Again, that's the point I'm trying to ask you: is why is electric in control right now? We couldn't handle it anyways. Not in a full scale model. We could not handle it. Why? That's what I'm asking you. Why? You tell me. Okay. It's the green policy agenda. Biden is all in. He wants to end it. Okay. But you're not ending it. That's the point. You're still buying from Saudi Arabia. You're trying to artificially lower the price by draining your SPR, which is basically oil that is meant for wartime. Okay. So again, obviously nobody's got the answer, nor do I. Okay. Which policy do you disagree with? The green policy, or I'm not sure which policy you're speaking of. So okay. Again, I don't agree with it either, but again, there's many that do, and I can't say that they're wrong. I don't know. I only know from people that I talk to that tell me, okay, and the people that I listen to have, are degreed and very intelligent. Now, again, I don't have necessarily an opinion myself because I really don't know. Whatever answer I would give you would be me just making my opinion, okay, not basing with any fact. Okay. Diesel a bigger problem? Well, again, we have all kinds of problems. We don't want to address them, and I think that becomes the bigger story. Okay, that we need to address these problems, because if we don't, how are we going to survive? Okay, how are we going to get through? Okay, how is this country going to thrive as we have done forever? Okay, I mean, is this the story of another empire going down after 200 to 250 years, which has been about the standard of empires? I mean, I don't have the answer. Okay, but I can certainly tell you that I don't believe we're doing it. I don't believe we're going about it the right way. Okay. Let's see. It's nonsense. Green policy, G20 in Bali. All leaders will fly in. It's a great. Well, they like to fly in their private trucks, of course. Their private planes. I mean, listen. There's no bigger offender than Kerry. Okay, when you want to look at it from that standpoint. Okay, I mean, he still flies around in his private jet. I mean, didn't President Obama fly 8,700 miles or whatever it was to go beg for oil? Okay, what was that carbon footprint like? So again, look, it comes down to what do you believe in, but not even what you believe in now. It comes down to where do we stand, and how much destruction to the average person do we want to do? That's really the bigger question here. Okay, how much damage are we willing to do to the average American in this case? Okay, because of what they're doing, and apparently they don't care. Okay, that's would be something that would look at. You look at markets. I mean, they've held up well. Okay, but still, you can see some reasons for lower prices. Okay, and I mean, again, listen, I just follow the algorithms, and when I'm trading during the day, I trade, and I trade the charts, and at the end of the day, I can't tell you what's going to be next. I can only tell you that whatever you're doing, you better be disciplined about what you're doing. Okay, because if you're not, you're going to lose. Okay, it's hard enough if you're disciplined. Okay, this is not stealing. Trading, they're not handing money away. Of course, the guy just called me before I came on, told me they had inside information on the football game tonight. Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad you have inside information. You must be related to the Burger Girl and the pilots. Okay, because you get inside info that you know more. Okay. Now again, we know that's all a bunch of shit. Okay. But again, you see, we don't seem to understand what's going to happen to all of our costs on everything else, right? Think about this, okay? If energy continues to go higher, natural gas, diesel, heating oil, okay, if they continue to work their way higher, it's got to raise the cost of food. Okay, farmers are not in it for nonprofit. Okay, farmers are in business to make a profit. Okay, and if they get to a point, okay, where they're not making any money, and you can bet it's getting closer and closer every day, because again, input costs, the grains just don't magically come out of the ground. Okay. Oh yeah, I got that in a draw. I got a free bet. Okay. What is it, a draw? I hope it's a draw. Let me know. I got I got a free play on it. So I played the draw naturally. I took the highest price. Margins are razor thin. Right. And you're a farmer, so you know. Okay. So what's going to happen? Okay. If you get to a certain point, you're not going to lose. You're not going to intentionally lose money, are you? And Liverpool was a big favorite. You're not going to intentionally lose money, are you? I mean, I know you've had losing years before. It's the nature of the business. But you're not going to intentionally go into a crop or go into some commodity if you know that going in it you're a loser. Okay, would that be correct? Would that be a correct assessment? Right. So at some point, either prices have to rise, okay, or fuel costs have got to come down, because that's the fuel costs are our biggest component of everything. I mean, we use about 80 to 90% of everything we do in this country is directly correlated to fossil fuels. Okay, not kind of, directly. Okay, so if farmers aren't going to be able to make money on their crop, they're not going to put it in the ground. They take enough risk. This is already looks like it's going to be a tough year for farmers. Okay, because if you're in some of the rougher areas, the real fertile land is already calling for less acreage, less production per acre. Well, if you're out in South Dakota, North Dakota, and some of those places, hell, you don't produce enough to begin with. And now where are you going to be? Okay. So, this is not easy. Okay. And this is who we're punishing more than anybody. Eventually it all drains downhill, right? They say the stuff goes downhill. It eventually comes back to the consumer. But if farmers stop planting because they don't want to take the loss, going in, where's the food going to come from? Okay. How are we going to eat? Okay. You don't think it's a problem? Okay. Yes, I know. It's in my notes, big boy. I got it. Okay. But how are we going to eat? Okay. If we continue at this pace. Okay. Because again, you're destroying a business. You're destroying the oldest, best business in the world, farmers. Okay. Because of cost. My year-over-year supply, right, 32%, and you're probably on the low side. Okay. I mean, I'm assuming many are up a lot more than 32%. Okay. And prices, although higher, are not keeping up with the rate. And that doesn't depend on what? It doesn't depend on if you have a problem. We don't know that there's not going to be a problem along the road, right? Are you going to have enough production this year to overcome your costs? Again, I have no idea what your land is like. Okay. But are you? Okay. And what do you need to happen to get out to make sure? Because again, nobody understands that farmers lay out millions of dollars, okay, which they borrow. So that's another input cost. I don't even know if you're counting. I don't know if you're counting your input into the 32% of loan value, but and maybe you don't have to borrow money, but most do. Okay. And farmers get forced to close, right? Because China, well, our government's buying our farmland too. Bill Gates is buying our farmland. Again, those who control the food control everything. Okay. So, but again, all of this is happening for absolutely zero reason. That's what I don't understand. I thought prostitution was the oldest business. Well, same thing, isn't it? Government and prostitution is not that same thing. Okay. I mean, is that right or wrong? I mean, aren't they all whores? I mean, so look, again, I'm not sounding out the emergency bell. I'm just saying that these are things that you should be thinking about, because what we're doing to this country, as I said, and I will stay, even though I had the discussion with an individual, I stand by, we could not be fully green for the next 20 years, even no matter what you say. I don't think we can get there. Okay. We don't have the power grid that can get there. That's the first thing that's got to be fixed. Okay. We don't have enough to get it there anyways. Okay. So I think when you understand the entire big picture, we're destructing something for absolutely no reason when we have the solution. And I said this on RFD TV today. I said, we have the solution in 10 minutes. Okay. We could be back in business in a couple of months. Okay. But just knowing that we'd be back in production, okay, would help not only us, but how about the UK? How about Germany? Okay. How about some of the other nations around the world that are being held up because of Russia? Okay. You know, and of course, China stands pat because they know what they're doing. Enjoy your strategy every Monday. It looks like to me the market has found a bottom. Well, probably. I would agree with that. And you'll probably hear about it when I look at the chart, and I'll show you why. Okay, because I actually said that I thought they found a bottom last Tuesday. But we'll see. Again, that I don't know. I never know for sure. I can only give you what my opinion is of what I'm seeing. Okay, and what I'm watching. But one of the things I'm watching right now, which is very scary, is a country that is being overrun by crap. Okay, that is my opinion. Again, you don't have to have my opinion, but I think we're putting ourselves into a position that is going to be virtually impossible to get out of if we don't do something soon. Okay, that is my opinion. Okay, that if we don't do something soon, we will be probably in so much jeopardy in this country that we'll never be able to dig our way out. Okay. Now again, is that fact or fiction? I don't know. Again, I don't always have the answers. Okay. What I do have is what I think. Okay. And what I've witnessed and watched, in markets for 44 years. Okay. And I think that becomes an issue that we have to look at. I mean, again, we've got, our school system is I don't know, is the worst in the country. I think our school system is one of the worst in the world. Okay. 2-1. No. Ooh, baby. I need a goal. Get me a goal, Ash. Get me a goal. I never watched a soccer game. Why did I watch my kids play? And thank God they didn't choose soccer. And by the way, for those of you who are on Xander's Tuesday call, wish him a happy birthday. It's his birthday today. He's 28 today. Okay. But again, I think we have to evaluate where we stand, what we're doing. Okay. Because we spend so much money on minutia. Okay. That is absolutely meaningless. Okay. I mean, think about the money. And that's not just this administration, government in general. And I know the solutions where everybody's come with term. We all know that. But think of the money they throw away. Think about the money they throw away on elections. Okay. And trying to get reelected. Okay. I mean, think about all the money that they just throw in the garbage can. And yet we're torching the middle class on a simple thing like fuel that would not change the carbon footprint in this country one iota at this point. Okay. And certainly, wouldn't it be nice if we fixed the roads? It's amazing how every administration has an agenda. Okay. Every administration, and every administration in history that I can remember is going to fix the infrastructure. How many administrations have you seen fix the infrastructure? How many have actually done what they said they're going to do when it comes to the infrastructure? Okay. I would tell you to close your eyes. What do you see? That's how many. Okay. Yet every one of them makes the promise that they're going to fix the infrastructure. Wouldn't it be nice if we fixed the infrastructure in this country? Okay. Instead of worrying about everything else that's going on that we have no control over and spending even on chasing down Donald Trump. Okay, like him or not, what is the point of going after him now? Are they afraid of something? Okay, so again, I don't get all this, but I do know this: housing is falling in a shitter. I told you this was going to happen. Everybody laughed. I told you this months and months and months ago, and suddenly, housing is up. The inventories are up, and the listings are down. Okay, so you tell me. Okay, you tell me. Okay, that what's going on? You can't sell houses suddenly. And I went to look, I told you the story last week. I went to look at a house, okay, that they're already offering rebates now. And there's the market supposedly still hot. I was driving, you asked about wages. My wife's company went from 18-hour to 24-hour. There's about a 32%, but make no mistake, this inflation is chewing up a good bit of it. We're one of the lucky ones. Eisenhower did the interstate highway. Right. Okay. All right. Did he build the interstate highway or did he redo it? Okay. Because I don't know. That's before my time. You're old enough to know that I'm not. Did he build it or did he build it or did he fix it? I thought he built it. That's what I thought. Okay. I'm talking about fixing what we have now. Okay. What we have in place, which is basically antiquated and falling apart. Okay. So, again, we do, everybody. This is not partisan. This is every one of them are all full of crap. Okay. And the roads everywhere that I drive, except in Vegas, out where I live, are falling apart. Okay. Anyways, all right. Well, let's see what's going on in the world of markets as we got the dollar, which continues to skyrocket once again. And we told you last week we remained long. And here we are pushing up against the highs. Near 109 and change is going to be some resistance. Look, we don't trade it actively. We have it in our portfolios. I don't think that, it's not a great tradable product. The other currencies are much better. Okay. And especially with the criminals at ICE exchange, or the 9X, whichever one I forget that's at, they want to charge you extra. Okay. We're spending money on solar panels that are manufactured in China using coal-fired plant for electric so we can reduce our carbon footprint. How does that work? That's what I want to know. Okay. Coal's being used at record numbers again. Okay. As I told you that would be. Okay. Again, these are not hard. These are not Rubik's cubes of questions. Anyways, Connie, a 106 to 110. Okay, it's a big range, but again, look at the movement we're getting all of a sudden. 106 to 110 on the dollar. Okay, what do you say there? I just made an announcement. I'm telling you, wish Xander a happy birthday tomorrow. It's his birthday today. He's 28 today. Okay, so tomorrow you wish him a happy birthday on the call. I know you'll be there. Now maybe you won't be, but usually you are. The euro currency, it's below par. How about that? Okay, as we said and as we thought, it is below par. Okay. And again, I think it's going to, I told you right, I think it's going for months, 88 cents. Okay. That doesn't mean that there won't be a long trade in there somewhere. I mean, we're still shorted, but it doesn't mean there won't be a long trade in there somewhere. It doesn't mean I won't trade it long as I did today and lost twice. Okay. But at the end of the day, I think you've got resistance is probably right now 100.50, okay, or par itself, and there is no support. Okay. In chop and high volatility, do you ever change your ATR to 7? First of all, we don't have high volatility. That's number one. If you think this is high volatility, then you're not a trader. Okay, this volatility sucks. Okay, so there is no volatility. There's no volume. There's no volatility. There's no action. Okay, so if you think this is high volatility, then you better reevaluate what you're looking at. Okay. And no, I don't change anything. Okay. I don't need to change. Everything works if you just let it work. If you keep trying to chase after the rainbow, that's how you end up broke. Okay. You have to allow the markets to work. The only thing that you want to do is manage your money as you're trading. Okay. That's what I try to express every morning to the guys who day trade with me is if you're trading minis, maybe you should be trading micros right now. You can trade half of size, you can trade 5 micros. Okay. But you start adjusting settings to curve fit what's going on, you become no different than the Bollinger Bands or any of the other bullshit systems out there that don't work. This is the point. Okay. If you keep adjusting to make them right, eventually they're wrong. Okay. If you're steady, your adjustments as a trader are money. And money alone. Okay. Unless you develop something new that actually gets a good read, which you have to test for an extensive period of time. But just to change is not what we're going to do. It does you no good to change for the sake of changing. Okay. Anyways, Bitcoin, what happened? Suddenly they loved it. We thought it was at the bottom and it got up to the top and look at boom, back down again. Now, again, I would say probably 20,000 is going to be key. The key to watch. Look, I'm still a big believer. Okay. Certain things I don't watch moment to moment. We have a position in Bitcoin. We are long at the moment. Okay. But there are certain things that I don't watch minute to minute. Okay. Or day to day. And Bitcoin's one of them, especially the Bitcoin that I own, like at Coinbase. Okay. I don't care. I've already made my stance that I'm going to carry it. And if it goes to zero, it goes to zero. I don't think it's going to go to zero, but if it does, then I'm going to lose money. But I've committed those funds, or maybe I should be committed altogether. Okay. But I've committed those funds, just like no matter what my position is in gold and silver on the board when I'm trading and I'm telling you where we are, I'm still buying physical gold. And I will always be buying physical gold, silver, and platinum. Okay, as I tell you every week. I won't ever sell it. My kids will sell it. The day I die, my kids will sell it. Okay. In the meantime, Bitcoin 20 to 25,000. Okay. The bonds and notes, which we are short. Okay, the bonds is what we're following. Look, they peaked at where we thought they might peak at about 144-ish. And now they're headed back down again. Now they're probably at some support at about 138. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a bounce. I would be looking to be a seller at probably 142. Okay. I might even look at 140 as a spot to sell. Okay. Again, I think interest rates are going a lot higher. And I think that bonds are going a lot lower because that would be the correct direction based on because they go in opposite directions. In the meantime, support is about 138, which is right where we are. Now, will it hold or will it fade? I think if I were going to look for a support level, I'd be more looking at about 136.5. Okay, so to me, Connie, 136.5 to 142. Okay. And gold, which we are still short, we never reversed. And it's interesting, since August 12th, which was the peak, okay, we've gone down every day. Okay, and we're coming down to a pretty key support level at around 1740-ish, 1735. Now, look, we're short, and I think gold looks off. I think they all look off. Okay, but I would not be shocked nor fall off my chair if we saw a sharp rally the next day or two. Okay, because again, like anything else, when the action is too far off base, okay, in this case, going down too fast, too far, okay, there'd be no question that we could see a little bit of a bounce and still be in a negative market. Okay, this fall has not been extremely steep, but it is certainly steeper than we would like to, and certainly would expect a potential rally just to bring it back to the mean. Okay, just a little bit of mean reversion. Okay, in the meantime, 1740 is crucial. Okay, 35 to 40. I think you're probably looking at 1780, 1740 support, but it wouldn't surprise me to see us take out 1700 either. And I think that everything favors in paper gold below 1700 right now. Okay. Now that doesn't mean that it's not going to turn around tomorrow and go straight up and you're going to say, oh, you're a dummy. Well, I mean, listen, I've been called worse, so it's okay. But to me, this looks awful. And the fact that they never did trigger a reversal, where silver did, and silver looks awful. Silver hasn't gone a day up since it reversed either, which we reversed today. Okay. Again, I would suspect that you'll see some sort of movement, but I think that now silver 18 is in play, in my opinion, almost for sure. Okay. And I would be a heavy paper seller. Remember, let's clarify what we're talking about. Okay. Not my precious metal holdings that I have in my safe, but metals that are but my metals that I'm trading, I'd be a heavy seller at 19 or 20 at $20. Okay. For now. Okay. To me, the metals are golf and platinum, which can never seem to find any footing. Okay. But again, very steep. There is a better than 50-50 shot. Okay. That if platinum, we don't trade platinum because it's not liquid enough for everybody to trade. So I can't recommend trades into a market that I don't think is liquid enough for everybody. Okay. But I will tell you what I'm going to do more than likely. Okay. If platinum, it might even be tonight while we're together, but if it reopens lower on the opening, I might take a stab because I am looking for some mean reversion. Okay. And now again, it's a slight gamble. It's a slight play on the pattern. Okay. But I can never recommend it in full. Why? Because again, it's not liquid enough for everybody. Okay. But just so you know, that's what I'm looking at right now. Okay. In the meantime, 840 would be, and that's where I would step in if we push down to 840. And I think you're 840 to 900. Okay. But again, this is not liquid enough for me to do anything, and I'm still buying physical platinum. Okay. I'm cornering the market, me and the Hunt Pros. Copper, hotel, golf. Again, I know we reversed and got long, and listen, we're in okay shape. We're profitable on it, but I don't particularly care for it. Again, I think it was more of a sign of just a quick trigger up, and we'll see. This when you hear the term, we've all heard the term Dr. Copper. Okay. And copper is very tied to the economy. Now, building's going to slow down. Everything is slowing. Okay. So we'll see. In the meantime, copper, if you're looking at trying to find levels, 375 to 355, 375. But we are long, so I'd be leaning to being a buyer, although I don't think it looks very good. What does this theory look like that gold must fall like in 2008 plus a little more? Because it could. Look, I don't look at things in that vein. I'm 100% a price action guy. Okay. I don't care what reasons. We can all find a reason for a commodity, a stock, or a future to do something. I believe in pure price. Okay. I don't care about the helicopter money. I don't care about what happened in the past, other than I care about the chart that happened in the past, which helps determine the price action. But as far as news, I have not watched 1 minute of news except for a little bit of the State of the Union because I was going to be on TV in 6 years. I still am on the news, but I never listen or read it unless I'm looking for a particular item to debate with somebody. Okay. So I can't answer that question to your satisfaction. Right now, gold's going to the shit. That's how I see it. Okay. Corn. All right. Well, we were talking, and I said that I felt that last Tuesday, which is right here. Okay. I thought this was the bottom in corn. Okay. Now I've said to you all along, we were short. We are now long corn. But I told you that I would prefer to have been long. Okay. Now I don't think we're running away to the moon right now. Okay. I don't think we're going straight up. I would suspect that you'll see some resistance around 640, 650. Okay. I think you'll see some churning, but I think the lean and the direction will favor going higher. Okay. Which is what I'm looking for. And at some point, I think we will have a monster rally, but I don't know if that point starts today. It could. Okay, but I don't know that point starts today. Okay, but in the meantime, I'm looking here. I'm a buyer all day long at 610. Okay, and I might even consider being a buyer at 620. I did trade corn today. I did buy some and sold it. I mean, I could see that it looked like it was going to rally. Okay, as a trade. Okay, plus I carry a long position in corn as well. Soybeans, I think they also bottom. See, I think you're seeing some consistency now, and I think soybeans bottom last Tuesday as well. Now, again, just like in corn, we're not going straight to the moon yet. Okay, this is not going to be that major rally that I'm looking for, but I do think there is a major rally coming. Okay, because for some reason, nobody reacts to the possibility of a food shortage, which we're going to have. Okay, I will bet anybody any amount of money you want right now that we have a shortage of food come the end of the year. Okay, you can name your number. I'll put it. We can put it in escrow. Okay, there's going to be a food shortage. Okay, and you're going to be paying, depending on the brand you buy of bread, $6 to $10 a loaf. Okay, because there ain't enough. There ain't enough grains in this country. Okay, and there ain't enough grains in the world. You've already got riots going on. Okay, so how can they continue to keep the pressure on price? Well, they can do a good job. Anybody in a quiet market can do a lot of different things. Okay, and certainly, if you subscribe to my theory, which is that the big fund money, okay, has been trying to pressure the markets, okay, because if they pressure them hard enough, they can maybe force the banks to force farmers to liquidate because the farmers are in deep in debt and they're kind of compelled to do what the bank says. That could be what they're trying to do because I think they really want to buy. That's my opinion. Again, there's no fact behind it. That's just purely an opinion. You know. However, I do think that this is setting up for a huge move, and I still say we're going into the 20s. We're going into the 10s, 10 or higher in corn, in my opinion, 20 or higher in beans, in my opinion, and wheat, which we happen to still be short. I mean, look at it. It's just goes sideways, okay, for almost 2 months now. Now, it's interesting. When I was on RFD on Friday, I always try to look at the charts and the pricing before they have me on. And it was funny. It was down. And by the time they had me on, it was up 21 cents. Okay. But, you're seeing a market that looks like it has found a bottom, an ash. Okay. Although we are short, okay, depending on how big of a position you're looking to take, if you want to take 10% of your position here, I wouldn't fault you. Okay, I'm short. Okay. But I'm just saying that if I were looking to build a position, I wouldn't mind taking 10% of what I was looking to do here, but I don't know how much you trade. So I don't know how big you're going to trade it. So that's just the story. Okay. Well, I mean, again, tempted. I don't want to hear tempted. I don't care about tempted. Okay. I'm giving you a legitimate reason now why I could see the bottom could potentially be in place. Okay. I told you before, I'd rather pay more later than try to find the bottom. Okay. And again, I don't know how big you're going to buy or what you're thinking, but like if you were going to buy one contract of the regular size, then you could buy one mini, which is 1/5 the size. Again, that's up to you. I'm not encouraging you to do so. I'm just saying that I know you've been looking to buy it since it was $12. Okay. So I wouldn't be, now is a time if I were looking to build a position, which again, I don't build positions like that, until certain points, but that'd be something I'd look at. But in the meantime, this looks like 750 to 830. Okay. And of course, the meats, look, they keep going higher, but I don't think there's much room in the meats for a lot higher. Okay. Again, I think this is going to come down to what am I trying to say? This is going to come down to crude oil. This is going to come down to the overall cost. And, how many people can afford to buy steak? Okay. Again, when it becomes a true budgetary issue for the individual, and remember, these farmers got dramatic input costs here. And if corn keeps going higher, the cost keeps going higher. Okay. So, but feeder cattle, which look great, but again, I don't think there's a lot of room on the upside. I'd be surprised if we got over 185. Okay. But I'm not shorting. We're long. Okay. I'm not shorting them. I don't think they're going down. I just don't think they're going straight up. I don't know that there's much room. Cattle on feed was fairly bearish, but yet markets still look like they over accommodated for that on Thursday, right? Thursday, Friday they sold. Okay, so you know those reports are all bullshit. You heard me enough. You've been around long enough, big boy. And live cattle, look, they look great. Again, if I look, there's an old saying in the commodity world, okay, and that is that high prices with your high prices and low prices with your low prices. And I don't think there's a lot of room to the upside unless what? Okay. Unless we get a market that the inflation goes down. Then cattle go wherever. Okay. Then it changes the equation. And yes, I'll be happy to give you the information. I also put in the chat room every Tuesday. And by the way, my buddy, my global buddy from Canada to Mexico that does not stop in the US. I owe you an answer. I am sorry. I looked at it. I read it. I was going to answer. I got tied up and then I forgot. Okay. But I will take care of it tonight. Okay. My apologies. Okay. But yeah, I hope you know what I'm talking about. Okay. And the 2-1 son bitch. I guess I should have taken the underdog. And then hogs, which are now short. Now they popped a little bit today. But again, we're going into the time of year where the backwardation pattern plays out. Okay. And right now, I think that hogs are going down through May right now, I think. Hold on. Okay. Now that doesn't mean it'll change because I know that typically February is when they start to pick up some juice. Okay. But right now, December is 84, and then they see in February, like I said, they start going back up again. Okay. But we're going into, typically, I mean, I've seen December hogs under 40 cents. Okay. So we're certainly at a level. Now, again, we are short this right now. I don't think it's going much. Again, I don't think there's a lot of room to go to the upside either way. Again, and this just surely relates back to a budget issue from, how much money can I spend? That's the bigger question. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Okay. Natural gas, 14-year highs today. Okay. Closed, not off its high, but it did get over 10. It go to 10. October got to 9 and change, but I know one of them got over $10. Okay. So again, we're going now into also the season, so to speak, right? It's already September, believe it or not. Okay. It's amazing, but it's already September. Okay. And, suddenly the weather starts to change a little bit. You get a little bit of a cold snap, and not one of these guys has enough natural gas on hand if needed under an emergency. They burn it off because there's so much of it. There's such an abundance of it. Okay. So, and it happens every year that if you get a quick cold snap or God forbid a big storm or something happens, this will go flying. This will be at $15, not $9. Okay. Now I'm not saying it's going there. We're long and have been long, but my point is that it's a very volatile commodity anyways. Okay. So just beware and be careful. My man. Dutch gas is 97 euros per BTU, 10 times. Yes, it is 10 times higher. And again, you'll see it in my notes in a little bit, but again, the price of this is a joke. This is laughable. Okay. Because again, this is all for no reason. That's the worst part about it. If there was a real true reason for it, hey, that's life. But when you have the solution and you have it in your back pocket and you refuse to use it, that's not very smart and very bright. I don't know what you guys think, but that's what I think. Okay. In the meantime, it looks like 9's got pretty solid support. Okay, and there is no resistance right now. Crude, now there had to be news today on crude. I have no idea what it was, but there had to be news. There's no reason for that short covering rally that came out about 10 o'clock this morning. In the meantime, it's still in a pretty good downtrend. I mean, nothing has really changed. I mean, if you go right by our line we've been watching, I'd be a seller right here, which I would be. Okay. Look, I think you might be stuck. You might have seen a bottom at 86 and change. So for today, I'm going to make it 86 to 92. Okay. But it wouldn't surprise me if they go lower. Again, when your president is draining the SPR, okay, trying to artificially push the price lower, Okay. It doesn't work. It's never worked in the history of this country. Okay. It has never worked in the history of this country. It's been tried many times before. Cocoa, we're still short. Look, pop is coming down. Look. But I think, again, look for all of the commodities to explode higher at some point. Okay. First thing is, if the equities ever give way, which they really haven't given away yet, but if and when they do, money starts looking for a home. Okay. And that home is usually commodities. Okay. So again, be ready. Okay. Politicians are stupid. Okay. The question is not, are politicians stupid? Are politicians not stupid, but intentionally doing what they want to do? Okay. That's the real question. Okay. Regulating carbon dioxide that makes up 0.04% of the Earth's atmosphere. This is a scheme that sucks money out of the common man and puts it into people who make large contributions. No question of that. Okay. But are they stupid or are they smart for the way they're doing it? Okay. Right. I always use the word they're stupid, but then I think, are they stupid or they're intentionally doing this? So is it stupid or is it smart for them? Okay. I gave an example a few weeks ago, and the carbon dioxide to oxygen level on Mars, okay, is, I think, 10 times ours. Okay. Yet their climate rotates daily from about, I think, minus 75 degrees Fahrenheit to 150, or the other way around. So it's a dramatic change. So that tells you what the carbon dioxide does for climate change. Okay. But again, obviously, special interests still run this country, and that's obviously going to be a problem. Okay. Until the voters step up. Okay. In the meantime, so cocoa, look, I'm not a buyer. I'd be a seller at 25. Cotton, yeah, it was a little bit lower there, but look at the move from 85 cents to $1.15. I mean, again, at some point, they say even a train stops at the station. Okay. So, here you're consolidating, you had a straight up move to the upside and you're consolidating. I would be shocked if cotton doesn't go at least up to 135. Okay. Not that it will, but I'd be shocked if it didn't, based on what I'm watching right now. Okay. And sugar, we're still short, and it's continuing to head lower. And again, it's not a big fast mover. I think you're looking at probably 1870 as resistance, and your next support is probably about 1730. OJ, which we only have a position. Okay. I mean, look, the bottom line is OJ, you try to trade it, you'll never make it. You just have to carry a position or not. We're short it now. But again, it's really just in big consolidation. Certainly very high price, especially if you watch Trading Places. It's even higher than it was in that movie. And coffee exploded to the moon, which we're long. Okay, again, but it really, when you look at the overall pattern, what's it really doing? It's churning back and forth. It's 208 to 221. It is leaning to the upside. Okay, so it's leaning up, but it's really, again, if you look at it every day, that's why you cannot overreact to any situation, because you have to look at the surrounding picture, the rest of the price action picture. This goes back to when I said earlier, I can't curve fit a model to what's happening at this minute. It needs to be built over time, over a long time, because I can take you can give me any system you want, and I can back test it and make it a winner. Okay. But the thing I can't tell you is how much pain you're going to feel, and can you stomach or handle that pain that it takes to make it a winner. Okay. Remember, it's easy when you go backwards and it's not real money. Okay. When it becomes real money, suddenly you start to realize, oops, maybe I can't do that. Okay. Maybe that does not work. And I think that's something that too many people forget. And too many people fall into that stupid trap. Okay, Paul Harvey, the rest of it. I love Paul Harvey. I used to listen to my dad all the time. And that is the rest of the story. Okay. But, lumber, look at this. Again, this is what I told you a long time ago. Okay. That's where I'm concerned about copper. Okay. because again, I actually, now in my neighborhood, there's like 5 houses for sale that they're not even getting a bid. 6 months ago, they've been sold already at over. Okay. We went and looked at some new houses, which I'm not going to, by the way, because I forgot to ask the key question when I was there, which is what's the HOA? And when they told me what the HOA is, I said, "Are you guys on your drugs? I'm paying no HOA like that." But in the meantime, they're already offering rebates on brand new construction. Okay. Before, you'd have to give them a big deposit and they have land premiums. Now they're trying to bail now early. Okay. So don't think that, we have a tendency as people, as Americans especially, okay, to ignore the problems that are happening around us. Now, again, I don't ever want anybody to panic or worry, but I think that we have to pay attention to some of the things that are going on, because eventually those problems will show up in the economy. The housing market in 08 didn't just break in 08. It was already going in trouble in 06 and 07. Okay. The markets, when they're ready to go down, they're going down. Okay. And if you're not hedged or protected, okay, then you're going to have a problem. Okay. But in the meantime, okay, today's move was nothing. I mean, it was 2%. Okay. At the end of the day, when they're ready, they're going to go. Okay. And if you're not ready with them, okay, if you don't recognize that we have issues, and again, issues don't mean that you change. Issues mean what? That you're on guard. Okay. That you're preparing yourself, if you're not hedged, that you are preparing yourself for what's going to happen. Okay. You're putting yourself in a position, which means you're investing fewer dollars. Okay. You're not taking as much risk. It doesn't mean you should be in cash, because we know cash itself is worthless and getting more worthless every day. And just because the dollar itself is spiking doesn't mean that it's great, because again, central banking around the globe, they're all a bunch of freaking criminals, okay, that are devaluing your currency, my currency, okay, because it buys a hell of a lot less. As high as it is, it still buys a hell of a lot less than it bought before. All right. Let me stop part 1 and we'll come back with part 2. Give me a moment here. Stop this recording. Whew, that's a mouthful. Okay. Good deal. And what's up? For those who are just tuning in, okay, again, many of you have been here the whole time, but for those just tuning in, what's up and welcome aboard. And what a market. I said last week I didn't like what was going on. I hated being long, and unfortunately I was proved right. I don't like to be right sometimes, right? But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Again, I can't worry about day-to-day, week-to-week movement. It's going to happen. 45 years in this business. Okay. That's all I know. Okay. That there's ebbs and flows. And the minute that I get too emotional about either side is my first step to busting. Okay. Again, it's like betting on a game. Okay. Now, interesting enough, okay, I happen to be having lunch with somebody last week in Vegas. Okay. And a tout service, but as a friend of mine, and for sports, and he gave me some inside stuff, and he let me do something, and he let me get down on a game as he was releasing it, and and I knew, and I was able to middle the game on the total. Okay, I didn't watch it, I didn't care. I got up this morning, I saw that I won. Okay, it was the Baltimore Arizona last night. The total was 42. I went under 42 and over 37. Okay. Plus the fact that I kept a portion of the under as well. So I won the whole thing. But my point is that I can't get worried. I can't get worked up and watch every play of every game. Just like I can't watch every move of every market. You'll drive yourself insane. Awesome comic strip. Just like to kill SQ last week. Well, they kill everything, right? When markets go down, they go down. Okay. Again, I think that we have to remember, okay, what we're doing and what we're watching, which goes back to price action and not news. News will kill you. Okay. Now, do you want to be right or do you want to make money? I use this slide a lot in different presentations. And I was having a conversation with somebody today, and I said, we've done, we lost money today. Okay. And I don't hide from when I lose money or make money. You'll never hear me ducking or blaming you. Okay. I tell it like it is. Right. And I go, well, we've made a lot of money day trading. Okay. What's the problem? And the person said to me, I can't be disciplined. Okay. Well, you recognize it. Okay. Listen, that's the key. If you recognize that you can't discipline yourself and you're not going to be able to do it, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. Okay. Again, I'm a big believer. Some people can't do it. Some people don't have the ability to remain disciplined. Okay. Listen, it ain't easy. Okay. So, but if you're going to try to be right, you'll never make it. Okay. You have to be disciplined in your trading, which means you're managing your capital, your money at all times. Okay. And if you have to reduce the normal size you trade, you're much better off reducing the normal size. Look, you can't look at this. We have too much of an instant gratification mentality. Okay. Versus I'm here for the long run. I'm here for 44 years myself. That's what I do. This is my life. Okay. I was never a teacher before. For 35 out of the 44 years, I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't teach anybody anything except for the people that work for me. Okay. So I'm telling you that let the markets dictate to you. And if you keep an eye on your money, which means if you're normally trading 100 shares, maybe you should be trading 50 shares right now. Again, the only real adjustment you can make is size. Okay. That's how you protect your money. Okay. I hope that makes sense to everybody. But again, we're coming to a very tricky time here. And over trading and trading too big is going to hurt you. Okay. And you'll all look back because I'll be wrong and you'll make money, go, oh, I should never lower my size. Well, again, watch the movie Casino. Okay. When they kept the Oriental guy there playing, and when he was winning 10,000, he felt like he was losing 90 because he was used to betting 100,000 and he was just babysitting. Okay. And he chased it all down and lost it all. Okay. Again, I'm just saying, don't try to be right. You'll never be right, but you can always make money. Yeah. Gas is down 20 cents. No slappy. Gas is still up $2. This is how they normalize the insanity. Don't fall for that bullshit. Okay. And again, do you think that by draining the SPR that we're really doing the right thing? Okay. Especially because they're selling a lot of it to China. Okay. But that's got to be replaced. That is wartime oil. That's what that's for. Okay. And it has never worked, but yet they're bragging that it's down 20 cents, but it's really up $2 from the bottom. So, and there's me playing golf yesterday, 2 birdies for those who have played with me before. I'm back. What's totally wrong? I'm totally wrong. Okay, I don't know. Totally wrong. I don't know what you're referring to. You can tell me I'm totally wrong. I can live with it. You can tell me about if it's me or what. And if it's me, I'll either defend myself or say you're right. Okay. Anyways, Vegas is coming. Okay, the early bird is over. However, both Tradier and CTG have offered that if you open an account with them, a new account, they will pick up the 500 for the early bird. Okay, so I'm just letting you know that that's available to you. And of course, there's my Tradier shirt. I got to get my CTG shirt on next time, and of course, my Bubba Trading hat. Okay, but we will be at Circus. It'll be fun. Oh, it's okay. You don't have to deplete. Oh, deplete. You're right. SPR. Yes. Thank you. And again, as always, to all of my military, police, fire, but military, listen, again, you guys are the best public servants, work for nothing. And I'm so thankful that we have you. I just hope they don't destroy everything, because you guys have kept this country running. It allows me to mouth off and do what I do. Okay. And I just can't. Oh, that's a skin cancer. They don't cut it anymore. Now they give you these creams that look like you have leprosy. It's terrible. No, I can't take it anymore. Okay. Anyways, to all you public servants and military, everybody, God bless. Thank you. It's really, I can't tell you how grateful me and my family are for your service. This whole defund the police and this whole cutback is just so silly with what's going on here. But anyways, thank you. Natural gas is a 14-year high. EU benchmarks explode higher, and somebody just told you 10 times higher than ours. Okay, think about that. Okay, of course, Jay Powell in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Okay, they got the big meeting. Now, what's he going to do? They're going to continue to be dumber than those things on a bull, right? I got golfing boots. Okay, but they're going to continue to be as dumb as they can be, and they're going to try to raise rates into a slowing economy, which is totally backwards. But of course, they are totally backwards. Okay. City issues. I can never say this word. I'm going to need help now. Now I had it and I forgot it now. Apocalyptic warning about UK inflation. German central bank fears further surge in prices. Now, again, there's your socialist nations. Okay. There you have your socialist nations that are getting torched right now between the lack of water, the lack of fuel, the lack of gas, natural gas, electricity. Woof. Okay. You think that's good? Okay. And the average US household is going to pay 47% more for electricity than they did last year. Okay. Now, where's that money coming back? Monkey pox up electric. Okay. Where's that money coming from? Okay. Are you making 47% more this year? Okay. Anybody making 47% more? I mean, again, but yet let's continue to do the same dumb things over and over again until everybody's broke. Okay. Anyways. The words of wisdom from our pal Connie, who's always spot on. And of course, don't be pushed around by the fears in your mind, be led by the dreams in your heart. Notice, it doesn't say hope in your heart. It says the dreams in your heart. We are not for hope. We are for being able to dream big, because we can get there if we can control the rest. Okay. But unfortunately, the mind plays a lot of terrible tricks on us. Okay. And puts us in a lot of bad positions. Okay. And I warn you, as always, okay, that's why you have to be very careful, okay, as to what you're doing, and to make sure you're managing your capital at all times. Great one, Connie. Thank you. Okay. Checks in the mail from FJB to pay my energy bills. Oh, by the way, did you see Congress has exempted itself from IRS audits that are coming? Oh, yeah. Well, what do you think? Is that a shock? Okay. And of course, her State of the Union. Okay. Never in the history of this country, of the United States, has there been a raid on a president's home. Think about that. Somebody was awfully afraid of this guy. Okay. Now, again, what was the point of the raid? What is the point of still carrying on and spending all this money on past history? Okay. And so the people who cried that instead of buying Twitter, Elon Musk could solve world hunger with 44 billion are completely silent now that the Democrats voted to spend 80 billion to expand the IRS. Got it? Again, think about that. Okay. Private industry is what makes this, is what grew this country. Farmers were private industry back in the day. Okay. Farmers built this country. Okay. And we've expanded out to other things. But again, we're taking everything away from everybody. How's that going to look? Think about it. Okay, which leads me, I know I've been bitching all day, but leads me to my bitch. Okay. The scam known as Obamacare or health insurance. Okay. Now, again, I believe that everybody should have health insurance. I believe everybody should have the right to get it. And I think employers should still offer it. But because it's a scam because they don't get the ability to cross state lines for insurance. Why do we have the shit policies that we have, yet the government has their own policies? Tell me. Again, you tell me. Okay. Why do they have a different healthcare policy than I do? Like, aren't we supposed to be the same? Aren't we supposed to be equals? Okay. You know, I had an electrocardiogram, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. I might have told you already, but you'll hear it again anyway. The test took 5 minutes. The bill was $27,000 or $22,000. Okay. And they want me to pay $4,000. But I said, go stick it up your ass. I ain't paying shit. Okay. But I mean, again, this is our healthcare system. Like, this is what they long to get. Okay. All trying to get you to socialism. Okay. So again, anyways, back to business. Okay. In the meantime, so as we look at the S&P, well, actually the Dow first, Yankee Michael, and of course we use the Dow future, broke down from that support. Remember, we had too fast to move up. We said it could resolve either through consolidation, which it did, and now it's broken to the downside. To me, you're probably going to see some support. It would not shock me at all if there's a little bit of a rally even tomorrow. Okay. I think it's going to really depend on how the trade is overnight. But we're still long for the moment. Now, I'm going to guess that we may not be long tomorrow. So these levels are going to be very tenuous. Okay. For today, I'm going to tell you 32.5 to 34,000. Okay. But if we happen to get down like the 32.5 overnight, I will be buying. Okay. Just for a trade. Again, there's trading and there's holding. And I will be buying on if we spike down, I'll step in front of it. Okay. But in the meantime, 32.5 to 34,000. We're long at the moment, but I got a feeling we may not be long. I would bet we're not going to be long all four as we are right now. Okay. The S&P Echo Sierra, this is a little bit cleaner, right? It consolidated and now it's just back to, where it should be. And this would be the key spot, right? This would be like X marks the spot. If it breaks from here, it should probably turn over. It could rally from here and never have violated the uptrend that it was in. Okay. I would look at this right now, 4,100 to 43. Okay. 41 to 43, we're at the much lower end. The NASDAQ, November, Quebec, again, very similar to the Dow. Okay. I mean, not that, my apologies, the S&P. Okay. Again, if we use that 45-degree angle, we're right at the X marks the spot again. Okay. We consolidated after going up too fast. We're now right on support. So the question is, will it hold support? Okay. Or is it going to break? ES broke from 4,300. Yes, that's the number you were giving. 100%, Captain. Okay. Again, I don't ever dispute. I know what you're doing. I know how you read the chart. And if everybody did that, then I could give out different stuff. But unfortunately, not everybody does it. So in the meantime, I'd be watching this at about 12.8 to 13.7. Okay. And again, any big beatdown tonight, I might be stepping in. Okay. Just for, again, these are just trades. They're not long-term. And I'll have a stop in place if I do decide to play. Okay. But there's a lot of factors that have to happen. Okay. Until I know exactly where we stand. And of course, the Russell, Romeo Tango Yankee, which has been the strongest. And really, look at that. It's still well above. Okay. And is, again, I would say 1,900 to 2,000 on the Russell. Okay. But I would venture to guess that 1 to 2 at least of the 4 will reverse overnight. Okay. And again, I have no knowledge. I don't know yet, but that would be my guess. If I were to make an educated guess of what I'm watching. And of course, the VIX, popped a little bit today. Oh, gee, shocking. Well, look where it popped from. It popped from the dead nuts low that was sitting on it forever. And you got a little bit of a pop, but there's no volatility in this market. Okay. Look at where we came from. Okay, 35, we're down at 20. We've once again have the volatility. You remember, in all markets, you're going to get movement one side or the other. Okay. 1,900 to 2,000. Okay. All right. The stocks are running. Apple, Alpha, Papa Lima. Okay, Apple got hammered pretty good today, but okay, but we're still long. Okay, I mean, listen, it's still, in good shape from a chart standpoint. Again, I told you that I figured we'd come down to 165. Okay, I'd still be looking at that. I think you're 165 to 175. Okay, now this could change too. Again, listen, I don't know what's going to change and what's not going to change tomorrow or tonight. I'm just telling you what I see based on looking at the chart. Okay, but certainly you can see that overall it did reach a pretty good resistance level anyways. So it's not a surprise. And certainly if the rest of the market is falling, not a surprise that, kind of the weight of everything else kind of pulled it down with it. Okay, but we are still long. Alpha Gulf, okay, which we're still on. And again, I don't know how much longer we're going to be long this. We've already reversed SLB and silver. Now this did manage to hold up, but we'll see how it looks. Again, this is really not in play, as I explained to you every week, but in case you're new or haven't been here for a while, this is really in place in our portfolios as a long position. We take the short side because we're using options, so it's no big deal, but it's really in place like the VIX used to be when the VIX used to trade regularly for the big up moves, not for the down movement. We want when silver explodes the upside, and even though we're bearish now, at some point I firmly expect to explode, this will go to 15 or 20 or $25. And I want to be long for that. Okay. In the meantime, I did buy some of this as well down at 7 something, okay, a while ago. I just put it, I don't hedge it. I just put it as a trade because I'll gamble a little bit on this, but I've traded it for years. But here, I think you're looking at 720 support and probably 850 now resistance. AMD, Alpha Michael Delta, pretty much straight sideways. We're still long. Look, you've got solid support about 92, which is where it was last week. Okay, you've got solid resistance about 100. Okay, so what do you got? You got 92 to 100. Okay, what am I going to do? Okay, listen, there are certain markets in certain positions that are they're hard to trade. Okay, there's certain ranges that you just have to say, hey, I need to wait. And you'll hear me say this many times. If you ask me about a stock, I say, I like the way it looks, but I want to wait till I'd rather buy it higher than try to pick the bottom. Right here, I would suspect, again, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit of a rally tomorrow. Okay. If we see one tonight, I'll be a seller. Okay. But I wouldn't be surprised to see one tomorrow. Okay. And I wouldn't be surprised to see 92 holder and see a little bit of a bounce. Okay. Again, it's setting up for that type of action. Okay. And remember, it's slow, and it's only gets slower every day until when? Until the Labor Day, which is not that far away all of a sudden. Okay. Taiwan makes their own chips from over. Yeah, okay. Again, that stuff has no meaning to me. Okay. Valuation of a company, I don't give a shit who makes what. Okay. The company's price action tells you where it's going. Okay. I mean, this stock was down, I think, at $10 at one time. I mean, recently. Okay. So again, I can't worry about nonsense. Okay. And to me, any news item is nonsense. Okay. Unless it's as we call it, a fundamental news bomb that nobody could account for. Everybody knows what you just told me, to make their own chips. That hasn't changed. Amazon, which is not on yet, but it'll be on after Labor Day. I'm not making any changes before the holiday. I mean, this trading has been slow, and it's getting slower. And we got, between, what is Labor Day, like the 5th? Is that about right? Is that right? The 5th? Okay. So you got a short week. You got a quiet week this week. You got a short week next week, even though we're open on Friday, and then you got a holiday. Okay. So certainly there's no reason to, right, I understand. There's no reason to get too excited about anything right now. In the meantime, again, as I told you, I thought that it went up too fast. You're seeing the market consolidate. I think you're looking at like 130, okay, 130 to 145 or so. Okay. Interesting enough, Amazon still moves. Okay. Bravo Alpha, which we're still short and is totally gone to sleep. Yeah. Now, I don't know what's created the total lack of movement, the total lack of volume, the total lack of everything, but whatever it is, it is hovering. Unfortunately, it is hovering like on a pretty major support level. I think the longer it holds here, the more I'm not going to like being short as we are. Okay. But I think that, again, 89 is probably the support. I wouldn't be a buyer yet. We're still short. And again, there's not even for me, based on this price action, there's not even a reason for me to take a gamble buy because there's no action. Okay. I would think this is, 89 to 100. Okay. In fact, I could even go to 89 to 97. Fido, which I'm taking off. So, but I will do it one last time until it gets some action. I mean, there's really no reason for us to cover this every week because we don't trade it. Okay. I do own some, but we don't trade it. And anybody who ever has a question about it, you can always ask me. I'll be happy to do it. But, there's no reason that the market levels. First of all, it doesn't move. It tracks Bitcoin. And since the futures market doesn't have any backwardation or contango, there's no edge to it right now. So we'll just sit back and take it off from now. Okay. But for today, again, 12 to 14, 12 to 15. Now, again, this is strictly, you want to gamble, you want to be long Bitcoin, you can buy this. BitQ, which is Bitcoin soup, and notice that, see? As we talk about all the time, it went up a little bit too fast, and it's coming down just as fast. Okay. Now, where's support going to be? I don't know. I think probably 750. Okay. Again, remember, these are all like derivatives. These are all like derivatives of Bitcoin. Okay. They're either components of or Bitcoin soup or directly correlated, but that's what they are. So they're derivatives of that market. Okay. And if that market's not moving, what are these markets are going to do? They're not going to be ahead of it. Okay. So in the meantime, look, you want to gamble? 750 is probably a pretty good spot. Okay. This stock was at one time, I think 36 or 40 bucks. Okay. Right now it's in the crap. Okay. And we don't have it in any position. It's just one that we cover. Chewy, Charlie Hotel Whiskey Yankee, which I think has earnings coming out this week, which unfortunately we're still long at the moment. Or maybe, is there earnings coming this week or next week? Whatever. I think they're soon. Right here, this is pretty much dead support, about 40 bucks. Okay. And it had a hell of a nice move. It went way too fast up, went sideways. Are we recognizing a familiar pattern? And then it collapsed. Okay. Which it can go either way, right? That's exactly what happens. And what you would expect to happen out of a market that consolidates, okay, is if it doesn't come right back, if it blows off to the upside and it doesn't come right back down, then it's most likely going to consolidate. Okay. And then through consolidation, it then decides on which way it's going to break next. Okay. So now we broke, but we're still, I don't know if we're going to be long, but based on what I'm watching, I don't mind being long this at 40 bucks. Okay. And I would make it 40 to 50, but I do think there's earnings. I think they're next week. So what I'm going to say to you is probably better in the environment that we're in to be neutral. Okay. But it is 40 to 50. Coin, Charlie Oscar India November, okay, which we are long. Okay, had a nice move up. But again, remember, straight spike, went sideways, and like everything else, is decided to break to the downside. Okay. Now, again, it's not getting hammered. It's not anywhere near its lows. And my prediction, which is worth the same as the toilet paper you might have used at some point today, okay, is that the all-time lows are in for now. Okay, I don't think we're ever going below 50. Okay, now we could go below 50 tomorrow, right? I just don't think it's going below 50. Okay, what does that mean? Nothing. In the meantime, for here, I think 65 to 80 is what I'd be watching. And I do own this, full disclosure, not only in the portfolio, but I own it. And I keep buying lots of shares. DraftKings, Delta Kilo, November Golf. And again, the same pattern. Okay, now again, one of the problems when you see a market like you've been experiencing, okay? Now let's look at it from facts. Okay, forget about opinions, forget about anything else. Markets have been very thin. Anybody disagree with that? Okay, volumes have been very thin. Okay, so it's easier for something to move faster in light volume. Okay. So, but the patterns themselves will play out. Okay. The patterns themselves will always play. Okay. It's just a question of what speed which they will trade and at what volume and how far. Okay. Now, DraftKings, we're still long. Okay. And again, it spiked up at too much of a parabolic angle. That means that it can't continue unless it's going to be taken over. And that was my hope. And that my hopes are fading quickly at the moment. Okay. In the meantime, as I look at it sitting here, I would think $17 is like a must hold. Okay. 17 is a must hold. And again, the top right now is like 21, 17 to 21. Okay. Meta or Facebook wannabe. Okay. Which we're still long. Now, again, I don't think the stock's going anywhere right now. I think it's, again, the same as we talked about. It's really kind of stuck between 155 and 180. Okay. I mean, where is it going? It constantly churns throughout that range. Okay. And that's a big enough range if you're a range trader to try to trade that. Okay. Now, I'm not recommending that you do or you don't, but it's not a surprise that it went up a little bit too quickly and then it came back off. And certainly I would be looking for it to test 155. And at 155, I might take a trade. Okay. 155 to 180. First Solar, Foxtrot Sierra Lima Roman. Once again. So now, based on what we've been watching today, and listen, there's no guarantees. Okay. But based on what we've just watched in about, 10 different items between futures and stocks. Okay. What would be, based on what we've seen already today, what would be our guess of where we would expect this to go from here right now? That would be my guess, down. Now, again, am I right? I don't know. Am I going to take a position here? Probably not, because it isn't the most of all that liquid, but it does move fast. Okay. So would I consider I will 100% consider taking a position here. Okay. To the short side. Okay. Even though I'm long. Okay. But from a short-term trade, I would certainly consider taking a potential trade to the short side because of the action, the price action that I'm watching. Remember, the markets tell you the story. It's imperative for you to listen to the story. If you don't listen to the story, well, guess what? You don't get rewarded from the story. Okay. That is a very important point for you to always understand, is where it is that you stand. And again, based on what I've just watched, my expectations is we'd see a little bit of a sell-off. But for today, level wise, 111 to 120. Okay. Even though the gov money going in, well, yeah, what do I care if it's going? What do you think? They're smarter than the market. They're not smarter than the market either, big boy. Okay. GDX, again, this continues to be just death by 1,000 paper cuts. Okay. It goes nowhere. Okay. We are still shorted. I mean, 25 is the next key spot. I think you're probably 25 to 27. Google, which will be added after Labor Day as well. Okay. But again, we thought that it would peak somewhere around 120, and it's really still in that range of 105 to 120. That has not changed. Okay. Now, what you might be seeing, and this is something to keep an eye on, is it could build a base here at about 114. That'd be something to keep an eye on. Okay. It doesn't mean or guarantee that that's going to be the case, but that is certainly something that you can be looking at right here that might help you out. Okay. If you're looking to make a trade in this. Okay. Now I own it, just again, full disclosure. But yeah, I got it too. Yeah. Okay. I actually bought 2 shares today. Gold, GLD. Okay. We are now short GLD. Okay. And obviously deservedly so. Okay. again, it is looking like many of the other patterns. The pattern itself was ugly. Okay. And I would suspect that, again, I think that 162 is probably the key that we can really accelerate down to 158. Now, this is not what I would call a real accelerator. It's carried. We carried because, again, it represents, the precious metal. Okay. But I don't foresee, anything monster here. Okay. But I do think, okay, again, once again, this is one that I could see potentially making a monster move to the upside. Okay. That I could see, which is why we carry it. Okay. Not that it can't go down. Certainly it can go a lot lower as well. But I think if you get the big spike move, I think that it'll be higher. Okay. But right now we're short. And I would think you'd be looking at, again, 166, 164, 162 is the key support. But I think I would call this 158 to 164. Sorry, Connie. Goldman Sachs, Gulf Sierra. Again, not a surprise. Straight up consolidation. We're still long. Okay. Again, this would be similar to the for solar pattern. It hasn't fallen far enough. Now, I'd be very careful with the banking stocks this week. Okay. Because remember, the interest rate market directly correlates, okay, to the banks, okay, because they make more money. Okay. If the Fed continues to hike, the banks make more money. Okay. So I'm always leery, and I don't worry about news, but I worry about the perception. Okay. And there's other things I can trade. Looking at this chart though, 335 to 360, dollar up, gold down. That makes sense because, again, remember, most commodities are benchmarked against the US dollar. So higher dollars bring commodity prices lower. That's the question I always ask that nobody can answer for me. Okay. Why should a strong dollar hurt commodity prices? They should work on supply and demand. Anyways, 335 to 360. IWM, India Whiskey Mica, which we're still long. And again, here we're seeing the completion, and it may not be over yet, but the completion of a pattern, okay, that we didn't see yet in First Solar or in Goldman Sachs. Yeah. But right now, based on our position, I think 190, 188 is support. Okay. And at this current time, I wouldn't have a problem buying some there. I think 196 is going to be resistance, and then 202. Okay. But yes, commodities, not on any given day, because again, if you're trying to play immediate correlations, you'll go broke. But over time, the gold and the dollar will go in opposite directions. Okay. Gold and currency and commodities dollar and currencies will go in opposite directions over time. But the correlations are sometimes already built in. Okay. And that doesn't take into consideration, especially when you're talking about food commodities. If there's a big demand, it doesn't really matter. They're going to buy it. Okay. LVS, Las Vegas Sands, pretty much solidly sideways. But does look like it's making a descending pattern. I think 36 is going to be the key here to watch. We don't carry it anywhere, but it's one I want to cover. We could go either way from here. I'd watch 36. I don't have any real great levels here. Again, it's hard to get excited when there's so little action happen. Okay. Mara, Michael Alpha, Romeo Alpha. Okay, which we do have a position in. Okay. And we are still long this as well. And again, really right on where it needs to, again, I think below 12, we got trouble. Okay. We got trouble in River City. But this did the same. Again, just the consistency of the patterns are kind of scary. Okay. But you've seen this over and over. Okay. So does it mean the ones that didn't complete like this are stronger, or are they just waiting to complete tomorrow? Okay. So it's something to look at. But in the meantime, 12, this is 12 to 16 for now. NEO, November India Oscar, remains in torment, the torment of consolidation. We are still long it. Okay. I hate this. I hate them all, but I hate when pattern gets like this. This is like, there's nothing even to trade it. Any trade you make here other than using the algorithm, okay, is you're gambling on a breakout one way or the other. Okay. I mean, this is so dead and nuts in consolidation and the quiet. Look at what happened to the average to range, the volume, it's all falling apart. 18 to 21. Nougat, which we're still short. Yeah, again, look, at some point there's going to be a big spike in gold, but so far, now, one of the problems that Nougat has is what? Okay, one of the problems is that it doesn't, it works off of a multiplier, so it's harder for it to get the bigger move. Okay, this is going to take a lot of work to get this to start to spike higher. That's why when they start getting lower and lower in price, they have to reverse split them to get that multiplier effect back in play. But in the meantime, we're still short, and I would say 26 to 32, but it looks like it still wants to go lower. NVIDIA has earnings tomorrow or Wednesday. NVIDIA, November Victor Delta Alpha, okay, which we are still long. Again, here, support, resistance, pretty clean, pretty clear, 170 to 192. Okay. Again, I would be neutral going into earnings. I mean, we have a position, but we always have a position. So, but I wouldn't make a new position going into earnings. Okay. Penn, same as DraftKings. Again, had that big, nice run up, not quite as good. The good news is that we never reversed Penn. Okay. And our would still be shorted if we were still involved in it. Okay. But in the meantime, again, this is if you own this, you're hoping for a takeover. Okay, they can never make enough money to overcome but the money they spent. Okay, 32 to 36. The Qs, Quebec, and again, same pattern. I don't have to go through it. How many times you get nauseous? I keep saying the same thing over and over again. Again, right now you're probably at 312 support. Okay, 312 to 330. Okay, I think a key level to watch, probably 320 as well, 321, 322. Okay. Roku, Romeo Oscar Kilo Uniform, which we're still short. And again, look, this thing looks awful. Okay, as I told you last week, the celery rally. Okay, I think this could conceivably go to zero. Okay, that space is so crowded, I don't know how anybody makes money. Okay. But again, I'm not predicting anything. I'm just saying that I told you I got below 100, that it was going to at least 70, if not lower. It looks to me like it's going to 40. Okay. And certainly I can see some support at around 68 and 65. But I'd be much happier being a seller at 78 and 85. Okay. Square Dance. No. I mean, obviously got a little bit hammered with not as bad as the crypto. Okay. We are still long this. Okay. I don't see, nothing too damaging. I could see it reversing. I do own this in my investing, my hedge portfolio as well. I think you're probably looking at probably 70 is going to be pretty crucial. If they get through 70, it's probably going to 60. Okay. And I think on the upside, you're looking at 80. And then potentially 90, and then we'll see. I mean, it's very hard to make any commitment in here because of the lack of activity. Okay. And now, like, this is pretty dependent on a little bit of Bitcoin and a little bit of other things. But again, our position exactly. The SPY, Sierra Papa Yankee, again, right on support. Okay. This has done no damage. I think 410 is the key. And here, 410 support, 430 resistance. Okay. And certainly go either way. But I do warn you that, again, we're coming into probably in culmination, besides Thanksgiving week, the slowest trading of the year. Okay. With the Labor Day holiday. Tango, Quebec. Well, Okay, came down, which it should have, same as the Qs. You know, we would be long it if we traded. We don't trade anymore. I think 30 is probably a level you can look at. I think you're 30 to 40. Okay. And if I were looking right now, I'd still be looking to be a buyer. Tesla, which splits, I think, this Friday. So it means for next Monday. Okay. Now, you know, I've made it very clear. Okay. Kathy Wood, what you doing? Kathy Wood. I gotta know so I can do the opposite, make a fortune. Okay. Next week, Tesla splits on Friday after the close. It's going to split. Was it 3 for 1? Is that right? 1 for 3 or 3 for 1? I mean, 3 for 1, I believe. Okay. I will go back to trading. In fact, I'm going to put it in my portfolio once it splits. Okay. I will go back to trading. Okay. Oh, she likes regular and natural. 3 for 1. Okay. Yeah. So this will be. We will become more active in this. Again, you know, I haven't traded because I kept losing because I kept trying to short it because I love the car, but I just can't understand their metrics. In the meantime, some pretty tight consolidation as well, about 850 to about 920, 930, but it looks pretty good. Okay, looks like it wants to go higher. But again, I will be trading it once it goes back into when it splits. I mean, then the option will be reasonably priced and I can hedge it and I'll be happy. Okay. When Whiskey Yankee, November, which we're still long. I don't know if we'll still be going up to today, but we are still long at the moment. I happen to like the company. But again, my like of the company has nothing to do with what my position is going to be. I'm always going to own it in my hedging portfolio. But here, again, I own it right now. But I'll see tomorrow. 60 is going to be key if we don't reverse. And I think you're looking at 60 to 70. But the key to watch really is going to be like this 64 level. Okay, but 60 to 70. Okay. Is what you're going to be watching. And they've got earnings. Oh, they had them right. Okay. And then XBI, X-Ray Bravo India. Look at how it came down right to support. Okay. Now, this is, remember when it was going down every week and we kept showing you resistance? Well, now it keeps going up every week. Okay. So now you're finding support, which is, again, that's what you're supposed to do. Okay. Is to find those levels. Okay. I think you're looking at 80 to 85 is support. And your resistance is about 95, 96. And Zoom, which has earnings coming, I think, next week. Okay. This looks pretty ugly. Okay. Now it's managed to hold the first time down. Let's see what happens here. Okay. I don't know if it'll hold or not. Looks pretty ugly. But based on this chart, 95 to 110. Okay. 95 to 110. Okay. But I urge you to A, be very careful. Okay. B, to watch your size. The one thing you can control, okay, is the amount of money that you put at risk. Okay. There are times to be very aggressive with risk, and there are times to be very passive with risk. This happens to be a time to be very passive. Okay. Because the moves can be big and sharp on no volume and crush you versus, okay, waiting for the proper time when you're trading on your own. There is no shame in trading smaller. You know, nobody gives you a medal because you trade bigger than you can afford to. Okay. So just be aware that this is a time to be more passive and pulling your horns. Contra, Charlie Tango, Romeo Alpha. Sure. Whatever you want, brother. This looks good. What the hell are they? Quintero, what do they do? Looks pretty good. Now, again, this is a perfect example for me. Okay. I would have no problem buying it if I were going to trade it. And don't get me wrong, I could trade it. How big's the dividend? Okay. I could trade it, but I want to buy it on a breakout out and then on a pullback to support. I'd like to buy it right here. Okay. But on the way back to support. But it looks pretty good. Okay. Oh, natural gas. What's the dividend? You know, off the top of your head? WM Whiskey Michael Sierra. Look it up for me, will you, if you don't mind? Whiskey Michael Sierra to the short side. I wouldn't short this with your money. I wouldn't short this with Confederate cash. Okay. I mean, look, it's one thing. Again, here's where you're trying to outguess the market. Okay. Versus guess the market. Okay. You're not following the price action. The market here is telling you that there's probably still more room to the upside. why would you want to try to pick the top when the stock just keeps going up? Okay, yes, it's gone up quickly, but each time it's gone up quickly, it has resolved itself exactly how expected. I would think this is going even higher. Okay. Thanks for a great week ago. You're welcome, my brother. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to serve. So, anyways, I'm not shorting this. If I was doing anything, I'd be a buyer. I'm not doing either, but I wouldn't. I'm certainly not going to short it. Okay. I learned my lesson about shorting these kind of companies, trying to be smarter than the market. PNC, Papa November Charlie. Hey, a bank stock, yeah, listen, it's kind of made a double top here. It's kind of just in consolidation. I mean, we carry a position we're longer right now. I don't particularly care for it. Okay. I mean, it's a great bank. It's got everything going for it. But right now, the markets are kind of weak to me. So, I would say, if I were going to look at it, 165 should be some support. I mean, I don't particularly care for it. I think there's better stocks to look for in my eyes. Okay. A 65-cent dividend, 65%, so it's 2%. Not worth jumping into. But of course, it could explode with natural gas too. Okay. I am in a double. I could see that. I don't know what the options look like. I'll look at it real quick for you. I got time. Charlie Tango Romeo Alpha. Let's see what they look like. Oh, yeah, they trade. Yeah, I mean, it's probably a pretty good trade. Oh, 8.5%. Okay. I think that dividend 65%, but it's 8.5%, 65% a quarter. Okay, now we got it. Okay. I think that's a good trade. Okay. The only thing there's one thing I don't like about it is the wide bid offer spreads, right? Because you're giving up too much of an edge on every roll. But again, I think it's got a big potential, especially with being tied to natural gas. Yeah. I'll have to look at this. I got to write it down. Contra. All right, sports fans. Well, football every weekend now until February. Okay. So everybody have a great weekend or great week. Sorry. And remember, there's no shame in pulling your horns and in being safe. Okay. Markets are here 241 days a year. Okay. You don't have to be a participant every single day. Okay. And to remember, day traders, no trading tomorrow. I will be at the cardiologist getting ripped off again. All right, kids. Have a great night. We'll see you next week.